So welcome to At My Kitchen Table, which I'm not at my kitchen table and neither is Cristina today, but I'm with Cristina Fassio and we're both San Francisco girls. So Cristina, tell us a little bit about your story of arriving here in Italy.
Okay, well, I came over in 1994. I've been working day and night for my family's business. We had restaurants in San Francisco. And so I came over for kind of a year-long sabbatical, study the language that I was supposed to go up to the cooking school of slow food. And things changed. I fell in love with Siena. I fell in love with a guy. And that was 27 years ago. I haven't left. And honestly, I haven't even been back to the States in 16 years.
Wow, why not?
Life, family, it just,
you have kids. You have kids.
I have kids. Yeah, now they're adults, but it was more difficult to go back and forth with a family of four, and my dad moved over here. My mother travels all the time. So
you're Italian American.
Yes, I'm Italian American. My grandfather and my grandmother on my father's side came from Asti. And so I grew up with... I
think your grandmother is like the cutest person in the whole world. I've seen those photographs.
Yeah, she was pretty. Yeah, she was pretty awesome too. She looked good, and yeah, she was pretty cool. And I mean, I learned everything I know from her. Mm-hmm. The kitchen, that's where I spent my time, was with her, enjoying cooking, enjoying being.
So do you have all those Asti recipes, the Northern Italian things, and then you ended up here in Tuscany and had to relearn everything?
I had to relearn everything, but then you just find your mother-in-law and you have your mother-in-law teach you everything Tuscan,
Is she from Siena?
Yes.
Siena?
Siena.
Wow, how great.
Yep. So our Tuscan is different than your Tuscan because the food that we cook in Siena is different than the food you cook in Florence.
People don't realize the difference, not only regional cooking, but we're talking regional within Tuscany.
Yeah. I mean, I can
cook the same as Pisa or Lucca, or Florence, or like people do things differently, which is what's so fun about traveling.
Yes.
Even within our own region.
Yes, that's why I believe in being a tourist in your own backyard, just taking a day trip, go 45 minutes from where I am in 45 minutes.
So where are you?
Oh, I'm right outside of Siena. I'm in a town called Aiolina. It means Valley of Garlic. It's a little village, got a mom and pop shop and a little bar and a couple of restaurants. And it's the perfect place for me. We've lived here since 2001. So this is my 20th anniversary. And should I go into...
moved.
Except I moved 2 years ago. Yeah, because I decided I was tired of working for other people. I really was tired. I had been working in the hospitality industry my entire life. Granted, most of the time was with my family, so that's different.
You were a boss.
Well, some people might think I wasn't, but I tried to be one in my own way. But I worked in agriturismo here, running the reception, doing the wine tasting, doing all the cooking classes. And I was doing the job of an owner, except for the fact of paying bills. I was doing all the rest of it, and it wasn't mine. And I was taking care of the clients. I had wonderful clients that came back every year, but I just didn't feel that I had what I needed to satisfy myself. So I quit my old job and I took a couple of years off. And I decided, okay, I think we should buy a rental property for vacation apartments. And my biggest problem was I wanted something in Aiolina. I have ties to this community. I have ties to people. I mean, if I need a tree cut down, if I need wood, if I need whatever, I call one of my neighbors. And when you have that kind of 20-year collaboration with people, you don't want to lose that and move to another.
Priceless. You can't reestablish that so easily.
I mean, my goats got out. I called a guy up the hill. He comes running down and helps me get the goats back in. I mean, you can't do that if you move to another area. So this place came up for sale. And in 2019, we bought it. And then 2020 happened. So we're hoping, things get back. We've got.
But it's nice because you live on site. You have your home there also.
Yeah. And so it's perfect. It's wonderful. And we live in an area, the part of Aiolina, we're right next to the winery of Aiolina, which is a fantastic winery. So, I just walk up the hill and get wine. It's really easy.
You should probably just have them send a tube down.
Well, that would make sense, but the tractors come by. So I can always just say, throw a couple bottles on the tractor and I'll just grab it off. But we have 6 apartments. We can sleep up to 23 people. We have a saltwater swimming pool. We have an organic vegetable garden for all of our guests. We're going to be putting in chickens soon. So we'll have some fresh eggs every day for people. And I'll be doing breakfasts and dinners and events.
And it's apartments, so it's not just rooms, right? So people come and they get their privacy. The space is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I came and saw it, of course, but the views from there are just matching. And you get to see like the deer and the wild boar.
Yeah, you've got it all because you're surrounded. Everywhere you look is green. I mean, it's just gorgeous. It's just hills and vineyards and olive trees, and it's perfect. And
how far is it? It's so close to Siena, right?
In 15 minutes, you can get to Siena.
That's amazing.
So it's 15 minutes to Siena, 15 minutes to Castellina and Chianti, 15 minutes to Rade and Chianti, 25 minutes to Dario and Panzano and Chianti.
No, it's really the heart of the Chianti Classico region where the wines really started. I mean, just up the hill a little bit is really where Broglio and all those guys are.
I get Broglio's Wi-Fi. When mine goes out, I can get theirs. That's how.
Isn't that funny?
Well, yes. But so we're here. We're loving it.
So I want to ask you too, when your restaurants in San Francisco, what cuisine were they doing? Kind of all Italian or?
Well, the Blue Fox, my grandfather went to America and bought the Blue Fox. First it was the Rex, then bought the Blue Fox. And I mean, he worked for a few years as a waiter before that, but then he with a couple other people, they bought one restaurant, and then he went off and bought the Blue Fox with a partner. And that was mostly what was called at that point in time continental cuisine, which is a meld of French and Italian. And it was very, very,
with table service and everything.
Yes, silver, tuxedo waiters. It was, the high end of high ends. You did not go there expecting to get a plate of, I don't know, macaroni and cheese. You went there expecting to dine, as people did back in the day in the 50s and 60s. It was really a different era for dining. Get a plate of, I don't know, macaroni and cheese. You went there expecting to dine, as people did back. I'm not synced anymore. It was really a different era.
How funny, huh?
Yeah. So am I out of sync now?
No, it was on the side here. I just turned it off.
Oh, okay.
And I thought, who's talking? And I realized it was my computer talking to us.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, the restaurant was, that's where I grew up. And remember on every Tuesday, my grandfather would take me to the restaurant and babysit me. And and I got to watch things happening, got to watch people cooking, learned a lot from them. I mean, the first time I made lasagna by myself, I was in first grade. I mean, my mother was.
Okay, now here's the big question. How did they make lasagna?
Not with bechamel like we do here in Tuscany. Bechamel just on the top. And spinach noodles, ragu, but a very rich ragu, very little bit of tomato in it. And then bechamel on the top. And in every layer, because as my family comes from Piemonte, Asti, they have this affinity for butter up there, which we do not have here. And so you would put on the ragu, and then you put little dollops of butter and then Parmigiano, and then another layer.
Instead of mozzarella or ricotta, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I grew up there, and then my dad decided he was a CPA, international, and he decided he wanted to buy back the restaurant for my grandmother and our partner at the time. So we reopened it up again in 1988. Mm-hmm. And then there was the crash of the economy in 90.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. So we closed that, but before we had closed that, we opened up Pagliodasti.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a whole story coming back home, because Pagliodasti is like the trattorias that we would find up in the north when you go, and we had cart service. So you roll the cart out with all the different antipasti on it, and people would say, I want this, 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 and this. It was very old school trattoria style. And that was, well, then we opened up 3 paninotekas, sandwich shops.
Wow, amazing. And that was down the financial district.
Yeah, well, one of the Pagliodasti restaurant and the paninoteca, the first one, and then the other 2 were in different areas. But it was a fun thing, because my dad worked in Milano as a CPA. Every day he'd go down and get a sandwich at this bar that's still there behind the Duomo. And I still take a train every once in a while. Well, not in these days, and go up there and have lunch because I love it so much. And so my dad modeled the idea of paninoteca after this place, but it still had the name Pagliodasti. And as some people might know,
explain, yeah.
Okay, so the Palio is a horse race. Well, Palio is what you win in a horse race in Italy, and the most famous one is here in Siena. The oldest one, though, is in Asti. So there was this little questionable thing. And, but so all of the sandwiches that were at the Paninoteca were named after the different, what they are called up there, rione, the different neighborhoods. Here in Siena, they're called contrade. Mm-hmm. And so it's a fun thing that I come from a family from Asti. We had a restaurant, Pagliodasti. I end up in Siena. I'm a huge person of the contrada.
So what's your contrada? Tell people.
We're from the Selva. It's a rhino. So if you could probably, if I turn around, you can probably see if I just bend this down a little bit. No, where are my rhinos? Do you see my rhinos?
Not really.
No,
you show me.
I'm wrong. I have to go. You know what? I'll just stand up. That makes it easy.
Well, show the flag, the top of the flag where you can see the official there. That's beautiful.
So there's the flag, and then this is our rhino collection. Now I'm getting there. I will find it. You know, it's hard when you're doing this on a camera.
And it's like backwards, right?
Yeah. So I'm like, where am I? There. So everybody always ends up having tons of rhinos in their houses, or if you're from a different contrada, you have that symbol.
Oh, so I want to ask about that too. Is that your husband's contrada, or did you just adopt it?
No, I came into it because of him.
Okay.
But he was not born. The way the contradas work is normally you're born in the neighborhood back in the old days. And then people started moving outside the walls, but you still were tied to it by family. Mm-hmm. My husband's family has 4 different contrade.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's because the sister was born here, the father was born here, the brother was born here, and then Masi said, my husband, he said, I don't want to be in any of your contrade. I'm just going to wait. And with school, you know, he made good friends, and then next thing you know, he's there.
Yeah.
And he's
how funny.
There a lot. Yeah. So it's a nice way to live.
Did you get baptized in the contrada? And did you get baptized?
Yeah, it's going to be backwards though, right? So, but you get a little.
No, it's right. It's actually right.
Oh, okay.
How
so
fabulous!
You get a little baptism. Yeah, it's. I got married in the church. I had the page. Nice. My husband had a page. You know, it was pretty cool.
How sweet! And so, tell people about those great dinners that they have.
Well, you know, we have dinners of 200 people. On a weekly basis. Every Saturday night, well, not now, but there's normally 200, 250 people every Saturday night having dinner. But then the night before the Palio, we have what's called the Cena della Prova Generale, which is the dress rehearsal. And so we watch the dress rehearsal of the race, and then we go and have dinner. And the last one that we had, which was 2019, because of course last year there were no poly. It was 1,200, 1,300 people, and we are a small contrada.
Oh my God, huh? So Kathy Wood asked, what actual neighborhood is the contrada?
In what sense? Where is it?
In Siena. Yeah, what are you near? What's your?
We're right below the Duomo.
Okay.
When you walk out the door of the Duomo and you go to your right, there's a staircase that goes down, and you're in our little square.
Okay, because I have people also, too that are the Torre.
Okay.
Friends, and that's like right around there too.
No, that's on the other side of Piazza del Campo.
Mm-hmm.
That's on the complete other side.
So you're on the stairs?
We're on the, you know where the back of the Duomo, that when you go onto the back side, it's the baptistry.
Oh yeah. Down where the little market is.
Yeah, that's where the what?
The Tartaruga, the little covered market. That's kind of far down behind the church. No.
On the other direction.
Okay.
Where the baptistry is, that's where we are.
Okay.
No, where you're talking, the covered market, that's in the Torre. That's on the other side of Piazza del Campo.
Okay.
And it's behind the, what's it called? The town hall.
Yeah, okay.
For lack of a better word.
Oh, see, I was just thinking, yeah, the town hall, I was thinking, not the Duomo.
Yeah.
Excuse me, brain dead. Pretty big buildings. I get it. Okay, by the Duomo. Okay, perfect.
Siena doesn't have one straight street. So, it's kind of like you start going one direction, and by the time you finish getting to where you are, you have zigzagged throughout half of Siena, because it is not a direct street. It's built on 3 hills, so it has its difficulties.
Yeah, and it's fun because as you're walking, you see the animals change. You might bump into like the statue and the little churches with their fountains that are so beautiful, or the porcelain on the outside, or the corners marked off, and they have 2 enemies like next to each other or something.
Well, that's one of the things, one of the games I play with our guests is that if you can get a picture of you at each of the 17 contrade, you get a free bottle of wine.
Fun.
So, it's an experience for them to walk around and find it all.
It's like treasure hunt. And I think that's a great way to visit a city is, looking for the chapels, looking for the statues, looking for the symbols.
Well, because, everybody can see a museum, and our Duomo is beautiful. There's no denying that. But seeing the heart of a city is, I think, even more important.
Exactly.
And Siena, the heart of the city is the contrade. That is what you're born with. That's what you die with. That is your life. And so seeing it from the people is so much different than just going to a museum and saying, okay, there's another painting.
Mm-hmm. So I wanted to ask you a question too. Is there something special you eat for these events? Well, I know right now we've got fritters for St. Joseph's Day. Well, you could go there.
No, but we don't have, there's, every menu changes. It's on, there's a board of directors who decides, board in charge of the food and board in charge of the beverages. So they make a menu up, and I've done it. I worked in the kitchen. Oh God, it was years ago, but I worked in the kitchen, and, there was over 1,000 people trying to get plates out. And, it's not easy to make fancy schmancy dinners for
fancy. No, not at all. They're fun.
But, you have appetizers, you have a pasta, you have a main course, you have a dessert. I mean, and it changes every time.
Yeah, and nobody's in a hurry. That's it. You go to these parties, you just plan you're going to be there forever. When the food comes, the food comes.
Well, the problem is that so much wine is poured that you get to the point where you're kind of like, okay, if they don't bring out more food, I have to sleep on somebody's couch because, excuse me, even alone, I still go for the elbow. I hear a squeaking sound. What was I saying? Oh yeah, they just pour lots of wine. And it's lots of singing. These events are so much fun because it's everybody singing, everybody having fun. We're making fun of the other contrade. We're singing love songs to the jockey, even though most of them we don't care about whatever happens to them. We care about the horse.
Yeah.
And then the great one is the victory dinner when you win. That's even better. That's even more people. And that's a
Wow.
lot fancier. They normally bring in a catering company to do that one.
Uh-huh. Amazing.
And so and the horse is the guest of honor. He's there
They
in
give
the middle
him
of the
dinner
piazza.
too?
No. And he normally gets a little agitated, so they'll bring him away. But, you know, I've been to 6 of these. Since I've been here, since I was baptized, we've won 6 times, which is just an astronomical
my God, that's
amount.
amazing.
I know. And I have 6 apartments, and they're all named for the horses we won with.
Oh,
So,
well, that's really nice. Yeah. You're going to have to build on if you win again.
well, yeah. But yeah, so I've been to 6 of those dinners, and each one is more fun than the other.
Yeah. Okay. So as an expat living here, I've been asking everybody, what have you been craving during the COVID lockdown? Have you been doing different? I know you've got a Mexico connection now, so.
As a matter of fact, we're having tacos for dinner tonight.
How fun.
You know,
I just ordered some masa harina, so I'm getting ready.
The other kind. My daughter's boyfriend recommended a different kind of flour, so I got that one. So I'm working with that now.
Because he's from a different region.
Yep, exactly. I mean, it changes from region, just like here.
Well, mostly I grew up having flour tortillas.
Right.
That's me, but maybe from California. I don't even remember why, but mostly where I go, it's all flour tortillas. And I always found the corn ones a little heavy.
Okay.
But it's different, so it's kind of fun. So
it is.
I mean, I love those, like the arepas, the ones where you make where the stuffing is on the inside.
Yes.
Like the street food. I think those are really fun. And I just did last year for Savoir magazine, I ran their book club last March, and it was Cool Beans. And so he has all these fabulous bean recipes, and one was a recipe from Georgia, Georgia, which my grandmother was born in Georgia. And and it's the same thing. It's a bread dough, and it's filled with pureed beans and feta cheese. Okay. And then griddled. It was exactly the same. It was really lovely. It's so funny how things are similar.
I love Cool Beans. You know, the thing about us Tuscans, because after all these years, we have become Tuscan, even though I probably wasn't in a previous life. But beans are part of our diet. I mean, they call us mangiafagioli. They call us bean eaters, because that's all we do. We eat beans in everything. And it's so good for you.
It's such a great selection too. I mean, and again, each region, once I took a day trip out to go to Lucca, because they have so many special beans that are just there. And even they're doing a slow bean now. And there's a couple of brothers that got together and they decided to produce under this label. And oh my God, I found a couple of really great beans. There's a little tiny red one that I really love. And now it's for sale at the co-op. They have their line at the co-op.
Really?
A little teeny yellow bean. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's something that reminds me of malaria or something. And this little tiny red bean, it's like something sick. And I'm not sure why. The funny names.
Okay, I'll look for
the little red bean was so delicious. I loved drinking the broth. And the other thing in Cool Beans that was really nice too was that he makes the black beans and then removes the black beans and cooks rice in the water from the black bean.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's delicious.
I have black beans going now, so I will use the water. And you know, but like even chickpeas, I use the chickpea water, aquafaba, for tons of things instead of using eggs when I don't, I'm not a vegan, but sometimes you just don't want that heaviness. And so use aquafaba, much easier.
And I think it's funny too, because you're saying that too about being vegan or vegetarian or something. I think Florence, especially in the Florence region and Chianti, are so famous for people coming out and having like the steak. Everyone thinks they're huge meat eaters, but it's a special occasion. It's like, oh my God, we're going to go have steak. The rest of the time is beans and salad and pasta and rice and 3 kinds of vegetables and cheeses and rarely meat.
Exactly. And even if it's meat, it's going to be pork on the average.
Everyday meat is pork.
Yeah.
And if you want to go out, like I always say, we go out for pizza usually. we go out for like a grilled steak, and we go out for like fried fish. Things that most people don't want to do at home or can't do at home.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Where do you go for fish?
No, fish I do here. I like my fish. I grew up, living in San Francisco. Yeah. And so to me, cooking fish is an art form. Well, I loved your prawns the other day that you posted.
Oh my God, they were delicious. Perfect.
I could eat prawns all day long, though. That's my favorite fish. But you get what you get here, and we're landlocked, so it's not like we have everything under the sun, but we make do.
Eating fish out here is so expensive.
Yeah.
It's like $70 a person, and it's like you're still hungry afterwards.
Exactly.
So, no, but like it's so much easier. Like you said, we grew up cooking fish.
Yeah. And the other thing is that Tuscans tend to do something that I find blasphemous, which is they cook it with rosemary.
What?
Fish. A lot of times.
Oh yeah, they put rosemary in everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just, to me, that's just, fish needs to be light. And
well, I was going to say too, it reminds me of the rule of no cheese on fish. The rosemary kills the flavor of the fish. And that to me is like a trick, because often too, people here tend to buy frozen fish instead of fresh fish.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it tastes like cardboard.
Exactly. No, I go to the restaurant supply. I buy my fish from them on Tuesdays and Fridays only. That's when it's fresh.
It's delivered, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to also, if you're going to cook fish, you need to know that it comes on Tuesdays and Fridays. You don't go any other day to pick up fish. That's like rule number one when it comes to fish. But the restaurant here up the hill from me, which is 800 meters away, is a fantastic restaurant. I recommend it to all of our clients here. And I've been recommending them for 20 years. They make grilled cod on a bed of pureed chickpeas.
Yummy.
It is so good. So I normally, instead of eating the steak there, which everybody does, I get the cod or the octopus, either one of the two. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, I've been craving going to Livorno.
So bye. Livorno, Viareggio, get to the water.
I like Livorno because it's kind of funky.
Yeah.
Viareggio is a little too chic.
This is true. Well, I like in Liguria. I really, really, really enjoyed. I took a overnight on my way to visit my folks up in Asti. I spent one night by myself in a little town and ate fish and was in heaven, just in heaven.
Andrea's grandmother was from Cavity.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite little towns. I usually do that one on my way to Torino.
Mm-hmm.
Like drive over, stop in Cavity, spend the night, eat. I love the little market there. I love everything. And then you can go straight up to Torino from there.
See, this is the thing that I think, because we're expats, we do things a little differently. We'll do that. We'll take a day out of the way and go and see something, because for us, we're still travelers.
Yeah, always.
Whereas Italian, they get in the car.
And they get there.
They get there. They don't, they eat at the autogrill, and when I go visit my folks, I always, it's a 5-hour drive. So I stop and get lunch, but I only go to one specific autogrill because I know what they have in there. I know that their spreads are made on premise. I'm a snob. Just,
isn't that funny? But it's fun too, because even the regular auto grills are just so nice anyway for normal people. I took a really famous chef from Mexico City, and we were going to, I guess Viareggio. Where's that famous fish restaurant? I'm brain dead right now. I wasn't thinking about it. I can't think, but the famous fish restaurant in Viareggio, jacket tie and all that kind of stuff. And we stopped at the Autostrada for the little panini, one of the really tiny ones. And they were like blown away. Number one, those gift shops that have like everything. Clay pots, beans, ceramics, chocolates.
Everything.
Heaters.
Last time I went up, I went in, stopped at my normal place. It's right outside, right before Piacenza. So, I mean, if you ever want to go to a good autogrill on the A1, it's one right before Piacenza. And I'm walking around waiting for my sandwich to be made. And I turn around and there was a whole rack of Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh
and
my
all
God.
And I was like, and I was so excited. So I bought a few different ones. Once you've tasted Italian good chocolate, it's not the same. I mean,
but I can still eat Reese's peanut butter cups. I mean, I learned to make my own.
That's what I do. Yeah, I make my own with dark chocolates, you know, and I got spoiled that way because yeah, they're good. They look pretty on a cake, you know. I make the little mini ones.
Oh, look, and my husband loves me. A Cunese. These are little hard chocolate with a soft chocolate and rum inside, like truffle.
Yum.
I was a good girl, so I got a candy today.
Ciao, Andrea.
Oh, he's downstairs.
Oh.
Normally I take this downstairs at my dining room table, but I was just too tired today.
You deserve to not tire yourself out.
Yeah.
So, you know, you've had surgery in Italy.
Yeah, it was great. It was really great.
Isn't it wonderful?
You know, I was really lucky too, because I've been having problems with my legs for years. And I thought, well, I was a waitress and I was a cook and I've been on my feet teaching cooking. I'm just on my feet all the time. And I figured a body breakdown is fine. But I was just getting this one pain that was just like really crazy. And so I said, well, let's go have a test. And they gave me an x-ray and they said, nah, it looks like you're going to have arthritis in your hip. Maybe that's what it is. And you need some vitamin C and vitamin D and take that. So I did like a 6-month cure of that. And it still wasn't going away. And I said, you know, I really need, something's really wrong. I said, well, let's do another x-ray thing. And I explained where it really, you know, I could feel it was like really hurting. Like it felt to me like I was getting a broken bone or something or a crack. Another x-ray, yeah, you got arthritis in the hip, but you know, that would be this pain over here. I go, no, it's not there, it's here. And so finally, my vegetable lady told me that she had just gone to get her knee checked. And she goes, this guy comes from Florence on Thursdays. You got to go to him. So we go to him on Thursdays. Andrea went first because he was a cab driver for 20 years. His knee was killing him. And then I got an appointment to go see him. And he goes, oh, no, not an x-ray. You need a, what's it called?
MRI or CAT scan.
A TAC.
Yeah, CAT scan.
CAT scan. You need a CAT scan. And I had a huge lipoma, a benign tumor behind my femur bone pressing on my nerve. So last like January, February, I was in bed for a month. I couldn't even get out of bed. I couldn't walk. I'd have to like practically crawl to the bathroom. And then it went away and I just had normal pain, you know, but I could deal with normal pain. We're used to that, right?
Yeah.
And push through. And so he said, this is pretty big. We better get you to the hospital. So within like a day or two, he had me set up the next week. I went and had my checkups, got the COVID test before they would take me. They did all the EKGs and the blood works and that like on Wednesday, and Monday I was in the hospital, and it was a day hospital thing. So I had to be there, like it's an hour away. We went and spent the night there. It was in Rufina, you know?
Yeah.
So I spent the night there so I wouldn't have to get up at 4 a.m. to get there. Got there at 7 o'clock, but they didn't operate till 2 p.m.
Yeah, that happened to me the last surgery I had.
I mean, I was just sitting around, and then they come and say, okay, get in your PJs or whatever, get in your clothes, and we operate, and that was fine. And they said, you'll be able to go home. So Andrea had been waiting for me all day because I thought I was getting operated on at noon. That's what I was kind of written in as. And so by the time I was ready to go home, it was almost 8 o'clock at night. He brings me home. I'm okay because I've got all this painkiller. I get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and I passed out in the bathroom. Oh my, I was just like laying on the floor, and now I've got this leg. I can't move my leg. I'm just like, but the hospital was fabulous. Everybody was really nice. They gave me dinner before I went home. I rang a bell. People were there. I got a private room. And because I also have private insurance because I travel a lot. I usually travel every year. So you can't travel with like your Italian health stuff. So I've always had private insurance. They wanted me to pay €2 for the little stamp that they put on the piece of paper.
Yeah, the bollo. Yeah.
And I told my doctor, and he goes, are you kidding me? I'll pay that.
Well, it's just, I mean, it works here. It depends, of course, it depends on what region you're in, because I would not want to be in Rome or Naples or whatever and having to go to the hospitals. But here in Tuscany, not so bad.
No, I was lucky. And you saved me one time. You sent me to that sports place.
Yeah, Andrea.
I had like a, what was it? Not the sciatica. So I picked up something I shouldn't, like moving a piece of IKEA furniture I insisted on buying. And something was going to, a hernia in my spine or something, whatever that's called.
Okay.
I'm not really good at doctor terms, but they did this little red light magic and it went back in and no surgery.
Yeah, I know. Andrea's the best. His place is the best.
But like what you were saying too, it's all about who you know. And so what I keep thinking about, I'd really like to move near the sea. And it's like, do I really want to start over again?
No,
I would like to be in the city so I don't have to drive a car and I can walk. And Andrea's like, don't sell the house. We can go spend summers there. Let's go rent something at the sea.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing, do something like that. It helps when you know people. I mean, if it wasn't for Andrea, my life would be totally different. He's a brilliant doctor, first of all. He's from the Selva.
That's great. Yeah.
He was partners with my husband's sister. They worked together at Performance before until she went off and did her own thing. So there's that family tie as well. Mm-hmm. He got my husband the job that he has now at Morbidi in the kitchen, doing all of their fancy food stuff. So, there's a big tie. And so when I call him and say, I'm hurt, I can go. And
I just really think, being here, building up relationships is so important. Well, anywhere probably.
Anywhere, yeah.
Same. Building up your relationships is so important. And just people have been friends for a lifetime also. So it's, they really have a respect for that, I think, that
they do.
People aren't moving all the time.
Right.
Our next door neighbors make fun of us because we're from, the windows open. We're from Florence.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, you're city people. And we've been here 20 years in this house, 20 years.
Yes.
But we're city people.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Because it's, this is, and my husband grew up, all of his friends are the same friends he had since he was a baby. So, we have this huge group of friends, and then we have the friends of the Contrada, and so it's family, and you don't want to leave that.
Family. Andrea grew up in downtown Florence.
Right.
And as most of the Florentines were kind of really pretty much pushed out of the city by the prices of rents, because also people like Andrea, working class families, people didn't buy a house. Rents were so cheap.
Rented. Yeah.
I think his mother, when she died at 80 years old, her rent was like $35 a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
In San Ferdinando. And so no one bought a house. Yeah. And so when people moved, all his friends moved up to Mugello.
Okay.
And we didn't want to move to Mugello. It's cold up there.
Yeah, it is.
Dead. And
yeah.
So whenever we go see them, we have to drive for 2 hours.
Yeah.
You
got to go with the bad.
Very rare but then they have their whole group up there.
Yeah.
But they have good food.
The thing that's important here is that being people who have moved to this country, being immigrants, because we are immigrants.
The whole expat thing, right?
Yeah. Well, me, the queen of expats in Italy.
I'm waiting for that to come back,
Somebody hacked me. I mean, I had the biggest website before Facebook. I had 40,000, if not more, every month, new visitors.
Wow.
We had the consulates were giving information, giving people my website and say, go ask them the questions instead of bothering us. So it was but I got hacked. And the people to fix it wanted, loads of money. And it was basically a free website for everybody.
And now you'd be a millionaire. You'd be making $1 million if you had that.
I know. Well, my destiny was, remember, Feeding My Destiny is the name of my upcoming cookbook. And it's my destiny.
Feeding My Destiny.
Yes. And my destiny was to be here, not to be doing.
So you will do cooking classes on site?
Yes.
Okay. You won't do them by yourself at your house?
We'll see. Well, maybe. I love working with people. I love teaching people how to get their hands into the flour and the egg to make the dough But
you can watch people on Zoom.
I know it's the texture. I'm a very tactile person. I'm everything's about touch with me.
I know.
You know, there's the
They're
senses.
waiting for you, Cristina.
Well, we'll think about it.
Maybe what I'll do is I'll host you for a cooking class. So I'll run the Zoom.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to worry about anything technical. You just set up the camera and we'll have you do a dish.
Okay.
Oh, but what I'm really enjoying is doing the filming myself by myself and editing it and just doing that Patreon account that I have.
Yeah.
Because people can watch them whenever they want. They can rewatch them. Yeah. You can do it really cheap for people. And and it's easier, I think, to film and edit. Also because like when you're live, it's kind of limited in time. I mean, people really don't want to sit for an hour, more than an hour, really, and cook with you. I mean, it's just like a long block of time because a lot of people are back to work already. Or the recipes that we do, it's like, I was just thinking I'm going to you make it too, the casatiello for Easter. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll send them the bread recipe the day before. They can have the dough rise and then we'll just bake it off together, you know? So I made a little video about how to make the dough. And they can watch that by themselves. And that kind of thing is working. So it's like having homework, doing your prep, getting everything ready, and then together. And you can watch, you could just have everybody be on the screen with you. And then if you want to see somebody close up, you can click on them and they become the whole screen and they can show you their dough. And I mean, it's,
you know, the casatiello this year, because I've got so much sourdough discard and I hate to throw it away. So I'm using it and everything. I'm going to make the casatiello with sourdough discard, give it that little bit of San Franciscan tang to it.
It's funny because one of my friends was Dennis Maggiore, who they owned Colombo Bakery.
Yeah.
And I went to high school with him. And I remember him telling me that sourdough bread got the great flavor that the guys used to work without their shirts. And then when they're slapping the dough, it would get like the sweat from their body and the salt. And that would give the sourdough the flavor.
No. I used to work at Boudin, so I know the real everything. And I have my sourdough going. And my daughter's boyfriend has opened up a sourdough bakery in Guadalajara.
Oh, isn't that fabulous?
Yeah.
I really just, that's why I love Naples too. I have so many places I love. I love Naples because I love the sourdough. I love the panicafone. Yeah. And luckily we have enough people from Naples up here that we can get that stuff. You know?
There used to be a great restaurant in Poggibonsi from guys from, not a restaurant, a bakery.
Bakery.
And I used to go there and get the real sfogliatelle, the good ones.
And then, okay, Wednesday we're bringing up the mozzarella. I had one place in Florence where it would come in hot. The guy would go down at 5 a.m. and then drive it back up, and by 10 it was still here. They never refrigerated it.
We never refrigerate mozzarella. Never. Real mozzarella is not made with cow's milk. It's made with buffalo milk. It's never refrigerated.
Yeah.
You got to be very strict about that. You know, there are Italian regulations on how you treat food. No, no cream in your carbonara, no onions or garlic in your carbonara. Oh dear God, please don't put chicken in your carbonara.
What was that one they did the other day? Oh my God, that was disgusting.
Smoky tomato carbonara. The New York Times. It was like, if I had a subscription, I would cancel it out of, You know what's funny though? There is this one restaurant in Florence on the river, on the way leaving town, and it's called Il Cigno, and it's like back off the street in this really weird place. And they do a spaghetti that comes out with this boiling hot tomato sauce, and then when they come, they put a raw egg yolk on the top, and you stir it in. Oh, that's delicious! And Andrea's delicious that for risotto, but it's not carbonara. No, it's not. I mean, there's so many things you can do, and just give it, like the right name. Yeah, just change the name. Give it something else. Call it. So listen, I want to open up the Zoom to so we could chit chat with people. So let me go and find how I turn off my Facebook. I go here, and maybe I can do it from here. So there, stop live stream. So Cristina, I just wanted to say, I'll put your link to your Farmstay, aiolina.com. Is that what it is? .com, right? Yep, .com.
Underneath, and they can find you. And this is going to be saved on my YouTube channel, which is Divina Cucina.
Perfect.
So if you ever need to do that, you can get in touch with Cristina. She has how many? 6 apartments.
6
10 minutes
apartments.
from Siena, in the middle of the countryside. Everybody's got their own kitchen. And is it okay? Do you have ones for like couples? Just couples?
Yeah, we have
families?
one apartment. We have 1 apartment for 2 people. Then we have 4 apartments for 4 people and 1 apartment for 5 people.
And a pizza oven?
Pizza oven, yes. Real from the 15th century. So yeah.
Oh, it really is built into the house. Great.
It was built because this was the farmstead. This was the housing for the people who worked for the winery next door.
Yeah, perfect. That's
so
great.
And I still know all the people who grew up here. They still live in Aiolina. They, like me, they're not going away. They like Aiolina, so they're still here.
Okay, so thank you, Cristina. I'm going to turn off our Facebook stream, and we'll stay on here, and I'll open up. You guys can unmute. There we go. And I'm also going to stop recording.